So today I'm going to get real far out of my comfort zone and talk about something I don't like to talk about with the closest of people, let alone openly in a video. And that is 9 years ago today, my brother passed away in a car wreck. It was a pretty tragic incident in my life. It was very emotional for me, my family. As you can imagine, I was fairly young, and dealing with death at any age sucks. But it's even worse when you're at an age where you're old enough to understand, but maybe not really able to handle it quite yet. One of the reasons I don't like talking about it much is because I don't want people to feel sorry for me, and I don't want people to have sympathy, because in life things happen, and you have to learn to deal with them, and you can either use it as an excuse to not succeed, or you can use it as a reason to propel you forward and make you stronger. And I choose to take this event and make it positive in my life and use it as a catalyst to move me forward and to keep pushing me rather than to hold me back. And that to me makes a big difference in those who succeed and those who don't usually, is by their ability to remain optimistic and use events rather as a learning tool and a building block to move forward rather than a roadblock that keeps you back. Another reason I don't really like talking about it is because a lot of people tend to only want to talk about the good that a person is by. Yeah, it's good to remember them by that, but to me, what a person is made up of both their goods and their flaws, their goods and their bads. And I like to remember my brother for all he was, both good and bad. And ironically enough, his flaws are what makes him, makes his good good. And it's, he was a fighter, which meant he got into a lot of trouble because he liked to fight. But it also made him very protective, and he would fight for those he cared about, and he would never give up. He was into sports, and this is one of the ways I constantly give small dedications to him. Before all my races, if you ever catch me, I usually kiss my hands and point up, and that's a way of just reminding me that, win or lose, try my hardest, and give everything I got, and kind of carry him with me in a small honor in every event I do. He was also very giving, meaning he would give the shirt off his back to you if you were someone he really cared about, and but at the same time, he would also take the shirt off somebody else's back if he knew somebody he cared about needed it. So, it goes both ways, and I like to remember him as a whole, because that's what made him him, was all these features, all these traits, good and bad. And I choose to remember him not by these, Facebook's posts about, how I miss you and how I wish you were still here, or, bringing him up in hard times. It's not really how I like to do that. I like to remember him by living life every day and remembering what he stood for and putting those values in my everyday living. He was a fighter, like I said, so I don't literally go out and physically fight, but I keep that in mind when I'm doing things. I fight. I don't give up. I don't quit. I keep going until I accomplish what I want, and it could be anything as simple as fighting to the end of a race, to fighting to get through school, to fighting for what's right in life, and that's one of the ways. I also remember him through his giving spirit And anybody who knows me knows I'll always give anything to them, no questions asked, no matter what it is. If I have it, it's yours. I'll do without, so those I love and care about around me can have. And this is, I think, is more is also has to do with the values my mom instilled in us and my family as a whole growing up, and just very giving, very caring, and that's another way I try to live in honor with him. And so, rather than just kind of posting things and talking about it, I choose to honor his life through living my life to the fullest. Another way this event has affected me as a person is, if you ever have seen me going through hard times or deal with difficult situations or stressful situations, you notice I stay relatively calm, or appear to be relatively calm. Even though I might be somewhat stressed or worried on the inside, I don't really show it too much on the outside. And in a way, people say it's me becoming strong. Other people say it's because I'm bottling up my emotions. In actuality, how I think about it is really nothing can be too bad relative to death. I mean, if you're still breathing, you still have a chance to either fix the situation, or you're lucky enough to still be alive to continue excuse me, living life. And so that's another way it's affected me, is because relative to death, nothing really is that bad. And so these are the lessons I learned. This is the way I've honored him. And this is some of the reason why I live my life the way I live it. And so thanks you guys for allowing me to share this with you guys. And GLD Jr., love you. Peace. Always in our hearts.